Hey everybody, welcome into the live stream, the 70,000 subscriber live stream. Thank you guys so much for being here. We're going to hang out. We're going to try to answer as many questions as we can today. I just want to give back and say thank you to all of you for pushing us over 70,000 and just, having a great conversation about games. And I love reading all of your comments, which I do pretty much every video I publish. I love to go through and just read every comment that comes through. So just want to say thank you to all of you guys for joining us here on the live stream. And just want to make sure everything is good. We're going to go through all of your questions. So I made a community post the other day, and I have all of those questions kind of cataloged and set up here. So we're going to do that. But any super chats or anything like that come through as well, I'll try to get those in the show. I'll kind of bounce back and forth and see what I can do here. I've got a thing called Social Stream Ninja, so I'll be able to put your comments right up here on the screen if any super chats do come through, anything like that. So thank you. Christopher Adrift is here in the chat as well. Dan is here. Good to see you. Good to see all of you guys joining us today. So yeah, we'll just wait till people filter in here, and then we're just gonna have a conversation about games. That's what I'm gonna do, and we'll hang out for the next hour or so and just hang out on this Saturday. Hope you guys are well. Man, I'm starting a diet tomorrow. I'm gonna start a 5-day fast starting tomorrow, and I was like, so I went and actually I was like, okay, I'm going to celebrate my last eating poorly today. Just gotta learn. I'm trying to lose about 15 pounds, so I'm going to try to do that. I have a target date set for like October when I'm going to hit that goal, and I'm already down about 4 pounds, so that's good, but I just want to keep it going. So I went over and had some pizza today. Whew, it's delicious. Oh, there's this like New York style pizza place near me here in Colorado, and just big slices, the big New York style slices. So good. And I got all your questions together. I brought my laptop and went to the pizza shop, got all the questions that you guys asked, and I put them all together. So we're going to get through all of that today. David, my producer, was kind enough to teach me how to use Canva even better. Like I use Canva occasionally for images and stuff like that, but to actually put together a presentation where I can, put them up on the screen and all that. So we're going to get to all of your questions here. And like I said, any super chats that come in. So this is the way it'll look. I'll have them up here on the screen, and we'll do that. And I'll read them, and we'll go through them all. So yeah, hope everyone's doing well on this Saturday. Let me know where you're joining us from. Corvus says, evening from Finland. Your channel's my way to relax. I've never been to Finland. I would love to go. We lived in Portugal, and I never got a chance to get up there. I would love to go up there. New Zealand. Chev EO is in New Zealand. Dan, the hardest game I've ever completed, I think it was probably, I think Metroid, the first Metroid for sure, if I'm going back, way back. The hardest game, though, that I ever completed, I can't believe I did, it was really tough. I mean, some of the boss battles in Armored Core 6 took it out of me. I mean, it was an emotional roller coaster, that game. Such an incredible game, but boy, were those boss battles tough. Apps really, really tough. Let me see. What's another one that's really tough? Like Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, as a Metroidvania. Like the timing, the platforming in that game is, in many ways, I think is second to none. It's so good. Well, I'll let you know, though, as soon as I'm done with Hollow Knight. I just started playing Hollow Knight because I want it, now that Hollow Knight Silksong is coming out, I don't want to be 2 games behind. So I've been playing Hollow Knight on my Switch too, and been really loving that. At first, it wasn't clicking with me, and then it just sucked me in. So now I'm fully in. I'm fully in. Corvus says, go to Norway instead. I've been to Norway. All right, everyone. Yeah, we got a lot of questions to get through today, so just want to get into it. But again, I just want to say thanks to all of you for hanging out and for being a great part of our channel. Like I said, I love reading all of your comments. I'm just a 48-year-old dad of 3 who works hard, has a full-time job as a journalist, and my other show, Redacted. So that's what I do mostly. And I like to game on the side and just kind of blow off some steam, and it helps me relax for sure. So yeah, great to see everyone. Silent says, loved your games room. Not a super chat question, but would you even consider getting a CRT for your retro games? I've kind of gone, I've thought about it. I used to have a really nice Sony Trinitron that I'm sad I sold. And I don't know. they're just so bulky, and I don't really think I'd have a space for it. And I don't know if I want to have a TV like sitting underneath my flat screen TV. And to be honest with you, now with so many good shader options and CRT filter options, you can pretty much, if you want to have it look like that, you could. So, but yeah, probably not. Probably not. Probably not. Is Finland flat and boring? Really? I didn't know that. For some reason, I just picture Finland as like just as beautiful as Norway. Guess not, huh? All right, let's get into it. Yeah, a lot of questions today, so thanks for hanging out on this Saturday, guys. All right, let me see if I can do this pretty easily here. All right. Here we go. I'm going to try it this way, picture-in-picture mode. All right. All right, our first question. All right, 3. Yeah, we'll kind of start from here. So 3, 2, 1. All right, our first question asks, what are your top 3 favorite games of all time? One of my top 3 favorite games of all time, and congratulations on 70,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. Top 3 favorite games of all time. Well, for me, the game that got me fully into JRPGs back in the day is Dragon Warrior 1. Dragon Warrior 1, which was Dragon Quest in Japan, of course. Dragon Warrior 1, I just, the music, the grinding, the exploration, the story is pretty basic, but go out, slay the dragon, save the kingdom, save the girl, find the keys, open the locks, level up. It just made sense to me. I loved it. It really opened up that world for me. And then Christmas, when Dragon Warrior 2 was coming out. I've told this story before on the show, but I was older and I knew about Santa. And so I knew Santa was coming, but I also knew that my parents had like a little secret something going on the side as well. So Santa and my parents kind of collaborated, of course, right? So I found this like little attic space where my parents had a couple of presents for me, for Christmas. And I was homesick from school, and I snuck up there and saw Dragon Warrior 2 that they hadn't yet wrapped. And I sat in this little closet during Christmas season while both my parents were at work, and I opened Dragon Warrior 2 and pulled out the maps. And I just was studying the game before it was even in my hands, before it was allowed to be mine. And then I would meticulously put it back in its cardboard, close the lid, kept it there, And then on Christmas Day, I was like, oh my God, Dragon Warrior 2. Unbelievable, but Dragon Warrior 1 has an emotional place for me in my heart because of just how much I loved that series and what it did for me to now fall in love with, JRPGs in general and RPGs in general. So Dragon Warrior 1, I was struggling with I was struggling with the third one because there's so many games I could pick from. But the second one on my list, hands down, is Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. I love Breath of the Wild, of course, but as I've done a couple of videos now and talked about my love of that game, and the 2 weeks that I got to spend is one of my favorite gaming memories when I dropped my kids at camp and I was in Scotland and I just got to go to this little, watch that video if you want, but where I got to hang out at this little, this little Scottish cottage in the woods and would wake up late. I was there by myself and just played Tears of the Kingdom ad nauseum for like 2 straight weeks. I brought a couple books to read as well. I read, wasn't just playing video games. Took hikes and walked and stuff, but it was just to me the most peaceful experience, and I loved that game. I loved the story. I loved the atmosphere. I loved being in the depths, all of it. I loved the just exploration up in the Sky Islands and then in Hyrule and then in the depths as well. So yeah, definitely tops on my list. And my third favorite game of all time, I mean, this is tough because I probably should just say Metroid. I mean, Metroid was, for me, that was the first game I ever beat, the original Metroid on the NES. It was unbelievable to know that like a game could finish and you could like beat a game, and how difficult it was, the exploration. And it made me fall in love with Metroidvania style games. That searching, going back. Oh, I'm not powerful enough yet to go up there yet. Okay, I need a high jump. So I need to go find the high jump boots and be able to go back to that. So I would definitely say Metroid, but my brain is racing through a lot of other games, right? Like Uncharted 3, and then a lot of it has recency bias too. Like I loved Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I thought that game was phenomenal. I love the story, just unbelievable story. Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid 3. Actually, all of the Metal Gears. I did a whole deep dive of my review of the 3 of them. I played them back to back to back last year or 2 years ago now. Love those. You know, just I think about them a lot. Xenoblade Chronicles, the first one. But I would have, if I had to pick 3 that, you know, made me a gamer, made me what I am, you know, definitely Dragon Warrior 1. Definitely Tears of the Kingdom. And definitely Metroid, the original Metroid. And I love a lot of the Metroid games. The other question you were asking is how would you rank the top 3? How would you rank the top 3 Zelda games in your opinion? I haven't played all of them, to be honest with you. But you know, for me, again, sits at the top is Tears of the Kingdom. Breath of the Wild is probably right next to it. I just like the extra mechanics that you get in Tears of the Kingdom, and I just like how much bigger it is, and I like the story more. In that one. Another Zelda game. I mean, I'm so nostalgic for the first one. I mean, it's the game that set up everything. So maybe Zelda 1. But, you know, there's a bunch of Zelda games in the middle of that I haven't played. My friend John over at the Happy Console Gamer was saying, he's like, Clayton, you've got to play A Link to the Past. And I haven't played it yet. And he just did a recent video that he was talking with his friend Andrew, and Andrew was saying it was one of his favorite console games of all time, A Link to the Past. But I have not played it, so I think I might have to do that at some point. Twilight Princess, JB says, yeah, A Link to the Past. Yeah, but I just absolutely love, Tears of the Kingdom for sure. Thank you guys, and like I said, any super chats that come in while we're live here, I will try to get those up on the screen as best I can. I'll put them up here. We have the software that'll put them up on the screen, so thank you guys. All right, next question. Let me move the mouse over and go back to this screen here, and let's see what the next question is. Next question. What is one game, if it was wiped from your memory, what game would you play for the first time again? And congratulations. Tears of the Kingdom. I know I keep repeating myself, but yeah, just to like totally wipe my brain of that game, I would play that again for sure. I maybe even Metal Gear Solid 1. That storyline, you know, Shadow Moses, what's Foxhound? What am I doing here? Who is Liquid Snake? Oh my God, to play the, you know, Psycho Mantis, like these boss fights are incredible. To go back and do that all again, yeah, maybe Metal Gear Solid 1. You know, also, like I think about like Xenoblade Chronicles 1 as well. I would love to go back and experience that story again at some point, and I will, and I'm sure. So some of these games I'm looking for remasters, you know, or if they come to the Switch 2 and they're, you know, they play or run a lot better on the Switch 2 if they release some new ports or some updates, you know, like 60 frames a second or something like that, I would definitely upgrade and play them again. And I would love to see a remake of Metal Gear Solid 1. I mean, we've got Metal Gear Solid Delta that's just coming out, of course. And I've heard reviews are fantastic. Like, it's so true to the original game, which is great. So maybe they'll do 1 and 2, maybe 1 and 2. You know, they started with 3 because I think it was, you know, obviously one of the most successful games of all time. So now maybe go do 1 and 2. Give us remasters of those games with modern controls and all of that. I think that would be fantastic. All right, next question. John says, an interesting topic would be your perspective on AI-developed games in the future. Do you see AI games becoming normal, or do you think AI has the potential to create games to rival some of the best games we have gotten over the last few years? Elden Ring, Cyberpunk, Tears of the Kingdom. AI absolutely will become the norm in gaming. 100% it's going to be the case. You know, whether you like it or not, it's going to happen. It's already happening, and maybe it'll happen for NPCs. It'll be more, you know, background visuals, background characters, conversations where you don't have to hire people to write an incredible amount of dialogue. But I still think you're going to see a lot of AI slop, and then there's going to be definitely a return to realism. You know, I think you're going to start to see a lot of that where there's going to be a return to real content, real games made by real people. So we're definitely going to go climb up a huge AI hill, and I think in many ways it'll help. Maybe it'll help studios save some money on not having to, you know, spend so much time on certain things. Maybe that'll help, and maybe the games won't take 7 years to develop. You know, maybe that'll help that cycle. But I think there's going to be a backlash. I think at some point there's going to be like, you're going to be in the middle of a game and you're going to be having a conversation with like an NPC or something, and you can tell that it's going to be written by AI because it makes no sense, like what the person said, or the grammar is wrong, or the punctuation is off, and you're gonna be like, what is this? So I think there's gonna have to be some sort of a happy medium eventually. Quality assurance people are gonna have to be checking this stuff to make sure that it's not slop. We're already seeing so much AI slop, both from video games and books. I mean, people are writing like 7 books a week on Amazon Kindle. It's probably garbage. But I think AI is powerful. It's definitely going to be the future. Does AI have the potential to rival some of the biggest? There will be a point. There will be a point when there is a game, like maybe like a simple prompt is, give me a game that is, like Elden Ring or Cyberpunk or Tears of the Kingdom, brings in all of the elements that made those games great, and give me a better version of it. Set it in the 1920s, during Prohibition, or, during the Roaring 20s or whatever, and have it be like a mafia style game, and go. And it'd be incredible to see what it spits out. At some point, there's going to be an AI game that, wouldn't that be shocking? Like if it wins like Game of the Year or something, that'd be kind of crazy. Crazy to think about, but I'm sure it's not that far off. All right, next question here. Sorry, I can't ever find my mouse. There, the hell is the mouse? Oh my God, my mouse is like jumping everywhere. Sorry, guys. Here we go. Okay, next question. Wheels says, new dad here. How do you balance time with your kids, wife, work, and gaming? Well, I ignore my kids and I ignore my wife, and I just work and I play games. No, that's not true at all. No, look, I've said this before, but I think, using like a time chunking method, or it's called time blocking, can be really powerful. Basically, there's whole books have been written on it. You can check them out. They're pretty good. There's also a productivity course that my friend David Sparks, he's a host of the Mac Power Users podcast. He did a whole new productivity course, and he uses the time blocking method. And he basically says like time blocking is like a superpower, because I fall off of it all the time. I need to be better about it. But when I do it, I feel so great. And I'm, like I said, I'm inconsistent with it. But the idea is that you block off like an hour on your calendar for things that you want to do. So, okay, if you've got to prepare a presentation, okay, then you put down a time block for that 1 hour, and do it in 1 hour increments. Don't do it like in 10-minute increments and stuff. Do it in 1 hour increments. So I'd put a time block up there that says, play Elden Ring. You want to play it for 2 hours tonight? Great. After the kids are in bed, your wife's sitting there watching some Netflix or reading a book. You know what? I'm playing Elden Ring tonight for those 2 hours. And you put that in your calendar, and you block it off. And like, oh, I'm going to take my son fly fishing on Saturday. So block off that whole day for fly fishing or whatever. And you have to structure things. I think that works really, really well. And then when you execute on it, it becomes like a superpower. Oh, you want to learn guitar? Put that time block in your daily, or that 30 minutes. You could break it up in 30-minute increments too if you want. But like practice guitar for 30 minutes. At 6:30 at night after dinner, and whatever, the kids are doing homework, and maybe that's your time to play guitar. So I think it really works. It is like a superpower. Next question. Retro says, congratulations. How do you feel about the current state of gaming, specifically the 9th generation versus the 8th and 7th? I think we've like we're getting to a point now where I don't care. I don't need like little shards of grass to look unbelievable, like I don't need that. I just want great games. I hope we can return to the maybe 7th generation where we had 10-hour games, 11-hour games like BioShock, where we have those games that are really great stories, unbelievable action, fantastic gameplay, and you get done, 11 hours and we're out. And we don't need to go sweating over every little blade of grass and all. So I think we're right now at peak visuals. Like I don't know like how much more I needed to look real, or as real as possible and all of that. So I think we're starting to pull back from that because I really think the ninth generation was all about, oh my God, we've got to spend $300 million to make this game look as visually stunning as possible, but it doesn't have any soul. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have any heart. It doesn't have any soul at all. They're just like soulless, beautiful looking games for a lot of the ninth generation. I really feel like that. So that's why I think like Expedition 33, I haven't played it yet, but I've just heard how people think, even like Osmond Gold was talking about that. He's like, how it hit him so hard, you know, and the story just so compelling. So it's one of those, I think, where you know, and it's not too long. It's like a 30-hour game comparatively speaking. You know, it's like you can go off and do some side quests, but it's pretty much like a mainline game. Like, go through the main story, finish the game. It's not a 100-hour game, 120 hours, you know. So I would like a return. I think a lot of the ninth generation games are soulless in a lot of ways. So I hope we can return to more of like the shorter stories, shorter games, more soul, you know, or more thought has gone into these games. Like BioShock. My God, I played that and beat that a few weeks ago for the first time. Wow. What a game. All right, next up. Grimelican says, hey, did you have a ColecoVision? I have fond memories of my older brothers. Great memories. No, but my best friend growing up, Ben, down the street, he had, I'm pretty sure it was a ColecoVision. Yeah, he had a ColecoVision, and I would go over to his house. It was before we were really into games, but he had it early on. And we would play Mousetrap. Do you remember Mousetrap on the ColecoVision? And because it reminded me of that Mousetrap game, that board game where it had like you move the marbles around or whatever, and it would move down and stuff. So I remember playing ColecoVision at his house, and I had some great memories of that. But I'd never owned one. I did have an Atari 2600, and my dad had Pong. So he was kind of funny to think about. He always had the latest and greatest, like when it came to like that kind of stuff. But we didn't have a lot of money, but he managed to he had the first computer in the neighborhood. You know, he had the Pong, he had Atari 2600 for us. So, and he didn't even play. All right, next. Just Interpret says, hey, congratulations, Clayton. Is there a certain 8, 16, or 32-bit title that you would love to see a sequel for, developed in faithful retro style? For me personally, it would be a follow-up to Kirby's Dream Course. Keep up the awesome work. You know, I've never played Kirby's Dream Course. The first Kirby game I ever played and beat was Forgotten Land, and now I'm going back and slowly chipping away and playing some of the old classic Kirby games on like Game Boy Advance and that kind of stuff. So, it's a great question. A sequel. Well, first of all, Kid Icarus was one of my favorite games. Okay, and I really feel like, yeah, we had the one on the 3DS and stuff. I would love to see like a faithful return to Kid Icarus in like some sort of a 2D style, 8-bit style. Yeah, maybe up, 16-bit style. That would be really cool. That's a good one. Another one maybe that would be great for like co-op play that they could put on NSO and do an updated version or like a new version, but maybe in a retro style, would be Ice Climbers. That would be pretty cool. I'd like to see that. In a faithful retro style. This is such a good question. I'll ask you guys. I mean, while I'm thinking of some more of them, what would you guys like to see? Maybe it'll spark some ideas in me. Speedball 2. Hey, Miguel. Nice to see you. Greetings from Portugal. Do you think Bungie will make a new Destiny? I think so, but I don't know Bungie well enough. Seems like they should. Marble Madness. I'm hyped for Silk Song. Yeah, JB says, are you hyped for Silk Song? Let's see. That's a good question though. What? I'm still struggling with this. 860. I feel like I don't want to let this question go. It's such a good thought-provoking question here. A certain 8, 16, or 32-bit title that you would love to see a sequel for. I loved Quackshot on the Sega Genesis, so maybe a sequel to Quackshot in that style would be great. Excite Bike. We could do like a fun Excite Bike sequel. That would be fun. Hey, Danny, thank you. Says, hey, Clayton, love your content. Your authenticity is key. Thank you so much. You're very kind. No, I never had a TurboGrafx. I've only recently started playing the TurboGrafx with the Analog Duo that Analog launched. Lets you play TurboGrafx games, TurboGrafx CD games and stuff. So I beat Eastbooks 1 and 2. That's the first TurboGrafx game I ever beat or played. And I beat it last year, a year ago. Yeah. Yeah, Silk Song is probably not an 11-hour game. Yeah, you know, I mean, these Metroidvanias can be massive and they take up so much time. I would love for there to be like maybe some shorter Metroidvanias, you know, like when Prince of Persia and the Lost Crown, phenomenal game. The combat, oh my God, the precision platforming in that game, it's tough. It is absolutely tough, especially some of the areas where you have to go through and like in midair, turn in midair and avoid these spikes, you know, to get through it. Like, holy smokes. But that game is long. That map is massive. And I know the Hollow Knight map is apparently massive too. I'm only in like the third area right now in Hollow Knight because, like I said, I never played it. So, oh man, Wave Race. Okay, Marlon says Wave Race. That might be a good one. Yeah, that could be a good one. Definitely as an updated visuals with like a 16-bit, or 8-bit style. Yeah, man, that's tough. I mean, I guess I wouldn't mind. I mean, I would love to see like take the original Zelda and do like an HD 2D remake of it, like they did with that other Zelda game. Which one was the one that they did that beautiful vantage point looking one? My daughter played it. I didn't play it yet. Not A Link to the Past, right? It's not A Link to the Past, right? No, it's which one is Eco? Pitfall, okay. Toe Jam and Earl. Yeah. Yeah, Legend of Zelda. Link's Awakening, yeah, exactly. Thank you, James. Link's Awakening. Yeah, like, you know, I would love to see them do that with maybe a couple of the early Zeldas, you know. Do that with the first Zelda, maybe do that with Zelda 2. Wrecking Crew from the NES in a retro style. That would be fun. I mean, there's so many options. And, you know, look, you just take my money. Just take my money. Like, if, you know, they're able to do that kind of a... Like, I loved Shredder's Revenge. My son and I beat that game. My kids still love it. They play it when I'm not even playing it myself. We love that game. So I want to see more of that, you know? Like, just... It doesn't even have to be, like, a remake. Like, give us what they're doing with the Marvel Tokon game, the new one that's coming out. That looks incredible. That battle... You know, just in that style, give us that like arcadey look, or that, you know, that sort of 16-bit, 32-bit look, and I'm down for it. All right, next question. Lincoln Payne says, congratulations, Clayton. Great to see this channel continue to grow. Thank you so much. Could you talk about the Xbox Series X? I still haven't purchased one, but I want to. How do you like it? What are your favorite games on Series X? And do you still think it's worth purchasing in 2025, even with the increased price? I mean, hand to the heavens, Lincoln, I'm going to tell you right now, I've only played it. I've only played it twice. Okay. I bought it specifically to play Starfield. And it really did suck me in at first. And I thought, wow, like this is, you know, it's got like a lot of Star Trek vibes for me. I'm really digging this exploration. I'm digging this, like the aesthetic of it had like Star Trek vibes for me. Like when, you know, Kirk and McCoy and Spock would land on a planet and they, you know, have a meeting on a planet. And it had that vibe to me, definitely. And then I fell off of the game. I just really like lost interest in it. And honestly, I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to play my Xbox at all. Like I didn't even subscribe to Game Pass. And then last year I subscribed to Game Pass to start to play Indiana Jones. That's the thing that brought me back. But the game kept crashing on the Xbox Series X. And I know a lot of people I did whole videos on it because a lot of people in forums had the same issue with the Xbox Series X and crashing with that game and all that. So I just stopped playing it on the Xbox Series X and I jumped over and bought it on PC and played it on Steam. And that's where I beat it. Finished the game on my PC. And then my son just beat it on the PS5. I got it for him for his birthday. He loved it. But anyway, all that to say, Xbox Series X for me, I've really only played 2 games, and one of them was a terrible experience, and the other one I fell off of. And mostly I play my PlayStation 5. Like that's where most of my gaming is done. And that, and then I would say the Switch, the Nintendo Switch 2, with a little bit of PC gaming thrown in there on the Steam Deck, you know. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know about Series X. What do you guys think in the chat? Christopher Driss says No Man's Sky. Yeah, that's a game that's on my backlog. In fact, my producer Philip was just asking me that question. He's like, have you played No Man's Sky yet? I'm like, no. And I know with all the updates that they just rolled out that it looks even better. So at some point I will get to do that. But yes, I don't know, the thing with, and I actually still pay for Game Pass. I don't know why. I think just because like I cover this stuff, like I feel like I should still pay for it but I haven't played any Game Pass games. The only one I played was Indiana Jones, and it kept crashing on me. I would delete it, reinstall it, delete it, reinstall it. Crashes within like 2 minutes of playing the game all the time. It would just freeze up. So I don't know. I'm part of me's thinking like, am I just going to cancel Game Pass? Because I know it's supposed to be great value and all that, but I'm a physical game collector, so most of the games I end up wanting to play anyway, I want to wait for the physical copy. So that's where Game Pass for me, I don't know, it just fits in a weird spot. So I'm kind of like, I also have it because I like to test like cloud streaming stuff. So I'm testing the Absolute Pro 1 right now, which is a cloud streaming device. I'm going to shoot a whole video about that in the next couple of days here. I'll probably shoot that tomorrow. My experience with that, like streaming games, like Xbox Cloud, Game Pass, Xbox Cloud, streaming it on a streaming device, and it plays beautifully. Amazing, actually. So, yeah, that's, I guess, the only reason I have it. All right. Yeah, Astrobot, exactly. Afraid to. Says I got a PS5 after playing Xbox for years. I'm addicted to Astrobot now. Yeah, my kids. I beat it. I beat Astrobot. Got nearly every one of the Astrobots. I was at like 293 bots out of 300, and then they launched all those new levels. So it pushed my platinum back even further from me. So I haven't gone back. I haven't gone back and played the extra levels yet. I should. Chev EO says, I stick mostly to Steam on PC, and I grab the weekly free Epic games and have some ancient stuff on GOG. Yeah, the free weekly games. I get the free Amazon games too, the Amazon gaming games. All right, next question. If you have to pick one, what is your favorite game genre? Mostly would say back in the, I don't know. That's tough. That is tough. I think in some ways I've kind of fallen off of JRPGs as, I really loved them. I don't know. Part of me just gets a little overwhelmed with like the HUDs, the HUD system and everything. And all of like the differences in things. I know like my producer Philip, he loves all of the tweaking and the menus and all of that stuff. Like upgrade this thing, and then sometimes I just find it a little overwhelming. So I kind of fallen off of JRPGs a little bit. I still love them, don't get me wrong. But I don't know. And I was like, maybe Metroidvanias. But maybe I'm just saying that because I've played a lot of them. And I do love that. I do love the genre. Metroid is the first game I ever beat. I'm playing Hollow Knight right now. I loved, what was that? Oh my God, Animal Well. Oh, I loved Animal Well. However, there's not much of a story. And so some of the games I think I really resonate with have, are like those 10-hour, 11-hour story-driven action adventure games. Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny, or Great Circle. Dial of Destiny was the terrible movie. Uncharted. I just beat Batman Arkham Knight this week. My son was, because that's the third in the series, and I'd never played it. I never beat it. And he's like, Dad, you got to, because he beat all three of them. He's like, you got to. I said, all right, then you finish Uncharted, and I will, because I'm teaching him the classics, a lot of the classic games. He's been playing it on the PS3, old PS3 that I set up for him to learn some of those games. He's playing Blur and stuff like that on the PS3. So I'm like, okay, you can play Fortnite with your friends, but you also got to play Uncharted. You can play, you can play Madden with your friends, but you also got to play Batman Arkham Asylum. You know, like I give him like this pressure back and forth. So I don't know. I think like a lot of action adventure games, if I guess you would call it like third person action adventure style, like Indiana Jones, Uncharted, you know, Spider-Man. Yeah, I think I kind of lean in that direction. I mean, like BioShock, 10-hour game, 11-hour game, great story. So, yeah, I think I'd have to maybe pick that as my favorite genre. It probably might eclipse Metroidvania. I think I might just say Metroidvania because it makes me sound cool. Oh, you like Metroidvanias because they're tough, you know? And that is true. I enjoy the challenge of it. But at the same time, I think it's edged out with games like Uncharted and Batman and things like that. So, yeah. Thank you for that great question, by the way. Tiggy's Toy Reviews. Hey, Clayton, when are you going to complete that Optimus Prime? That's my question. Optimus Prime. Complete it? What do you mean? Oh, you mean the toy that I have in my office? That was an original Optimus Prime, my toy. So, do you mean like buy little pieces? Like I'm missing some hands. I'm missing Optimus Prime hands for sure. And I don't think I have the drone anymore from it, if that's what you meant. Yeah, but no, it's not a model. Like I didn't make it, you know, it's not like a model or something like that. It was the original toy. But yeah, Cyberpunk, another great game, but limited. Yeah. All right, next question here. Sorry. Unique Cosmic Unicorn. Do you think video games impact human behavior? For example, in games where the main character is actively driving a car recklessly or participating in acts of violence using physical force and weapons, what are your thoughts about gaming influence the character of the gamer? Well, let me just talk about this. Gaming is fantastic for your brain. Surgeons who game have a 27% increase that's like accuracy or surgical level. So gaming is phenomenal for cognitive recall. It's great for building your memory. In fact, people who are sort of like drifting towards dementia or nearing Alzheimer's, doctors are telling them play video games, you know, play Tetris, play something where your brain has to fire in that way. In fact, I can tell you, my father-in-law, that's what the doctor told him. He's struggling more and more with his memory now that he's, you know, in his 70s. But anyway, it's phenomenal to lower blood pressure, lowers depression, reduces anxiety, increases cognitive abilities. You know, because you're interacting with this. You're not sitting there just like watching Netflix with your mouth open like a dead salmon, you know? You're actually actively engaged in it. That's one piece of it. The studies have shown that there's no connection at all between someone playing like GTA 6 and shooting someone and then also going out and shooting someone. Like that doesn't exist. It doesn't happen. Like, you know, I played a lot of violent video games in my life. I read a lot of, you know, I read like horror novels too, you know, and I like some scary movies. I watched John Wick. I've never once killed a person, you know, with a sword, you know. So I play Shinobi. I play, you know, I've never once killed a person. Going back to my days playing Kung Fu on the NES system, you know. So there's no evidence at all. And I know this was something obviously during the 1990s with like Tipper Gore and all of that stuff, trying to get video games banned, you know, trying to get GTA, you know, Grand Theft Auto banned and all of that back in the day. There's no, I just don't believe there's any connection at all. And actually I've read a book about this, and the data, there's no data at all. In fact, the opposite is true. Playing video games is actually great for your brain and great for your hand-eye coordination, especially like first-person shooter games and stuff like that. So, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, monkey ball. You know, like you're literally trying to balance on this platform, like Super Monkey Ball, and like figure out how to get through this puzzle. Like, think how good that is for your brain. Mike B says, my urologist needs to be gaming. I had a prostate biopsy, and I swear he stuck me with too many needles because he had to redo 3 areas. One procedure I don't want to have done again. Yeah, exactly, Mike. Tell your urologist to play some video games. Dan says, I like how there were hookers in GTA and you can kill them and get your money back. Not that we would do this in real life. Yeah. Well, yeah. Hiring a hooker is not something I do in real life, and killing a hooker is not something I would do in real life. Yeah, JB says, I don't think there's any correlation between violent video games and violent behavior in a single-player games, but there's definitely nerd rage in competitive games. Oh, yeah, of course. And that's so much fun, like playing ice hockey, on the NES with your best friend in the room. We used to get in fist fights, playing double dribble, like, playing Tecmo Bowl, but there's definitely that kind of rage, for sure. Yeah, exactly. All right, next question. Great question. Thank you for that one. You Owe Me a Pizza asks, hey, what was the most emotional moment in a game for you? Without spoilers, of course. Oh, boy. That's tough. That's a really good question. I mean, I just had an emotional moment in Batman Arkham Knight, actually. It was a pretty big emotional reveal moment. That was pretty cool. I think, I don't know, that's really tough. I think like Xenoblade Chronicles was a phenomenal emotional, roller coaster, really, powerful story. So that was definitely one that hit hard for me. That's another one that's pretty emotional. Just trying to think. Again, I had another pretty emotional response. Couldn't believe it in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Like that reveal, that twist, that turn, those turns, like, whoa. Yeah, and again, I just would say come back to like Tears of the Kingdom. Like that, what a great story that is too. Some great reveals in Metal Gear Solid 1. Metal Gear Solid 3, what an emotional roller coaster that was. I'm trying to look through my I use Game Tracks, the app on my iPhone to kind of keep track of my games and where I am in progress wise, and when I complete it and stuff. You see, let me just look through. Half-Life, emotional ending. This is tough. Yeah, I think Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man was pretty powerful. The Uncharted games. I was thinking it was like Resident Evil or like Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2. That was freaking crazy. That was like a whoa. Actually, no, I've got it. Probably the most emotional moment of a game that I played over the past few years really is Emio, the Smiling Man. Oh, yes. And someone else was saying, Red Dead Redemption. I think Red Dead, actually, I'm going to say that's tough. But Red Dead is probably the most emotional I've ever gotten in a game. That hit me. Red Dead 1. And you know what? I haven't played Red Dead 2 yet. So I just saw someone saying Red Dead 2. Like, oh, no. Really? Red Dead Redemption 1? Oh, yeah, that hit me. That hit me like a ton of bricks. Especially as, well, I won't say anything more than that. Well, I mean, just as a father, I'll say that part of it, and just picturing my kids in a, So that was really powerful. But Emio, the Smiling Man, that visual novel, I think it's one of the best stories. Like, if they made that into a movie, that would have been the best movie I would have seen last year when I played that game last year in October. To me, it was a phenomenal story. Unbelievable story, really. I couldn't believe it. And it was emotionally powerful. I mean, it's a visual novel, by all accounts. But, wow. If you guys haven't played Emio, I don't know if you guys are into visual novels and stuff. it's still a game. You have to make choices, right? So it's like actually, it's like choose your own adventure. But there is still one path forward. There's not like, oh, if you choose over here, you go this way. No, it's still in one direction, But I highly recommend this Halloween season, play Emio, the Smiling Man. It's such an incredible story. Yeah. People are saying Expedition 33. I still haven't played it yet. So, yeah. Great question. You owe me a pizza. Got me thinking. Yeah, Red Dead. Thank you. I knew it was in there. It was a core memory locked away. Red Dead, Emio. Really, really good stuff. All right, next one. Did I already skip this? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Fry McFly says, hey, congrats. What's the next big game you'll tackle on Switch 2? Where did you move now and why? How's life different compared to Portugal? We live in Colorado in the United States. I wanted to be, it's the sunniest state in the United States. I was sick and tired of humidity, and I wanted to be back in America. To me, it's the greatest country in the world. And, like my British friend who lives in America, he lives next door to me. He's like, I've lived all over the world. He said, I can say unequivocally, without a doubt, the United States is the greatest country in the world. And as a person who spent 5 years in Portugal, I can attest to that because you really get a sense that, well, first of all, bureaucracy, censorship, clamp down on freedoms, all of that stuff, in Europe. We know Europe is as you know, if you live in Europe, it's in decline big time, especially in the UK, absolutely in decline. And my British friends are all like, oh my God, this place is collapsing. London is unrecognizable. Edinburgh is unrecognizable now. But then coming back to the U.S., I think it gives you that incredible perspective to be away for a couple of years and then to come back and be like, okay. Yes, we've got tons of flaws in this country. We've got a lot of problems. We've got a lot of debt. We love to start wars. We got a lot of problems. But at the end of the day, I believe it's the greatest country in the world. Portugal's amazing to visit. And I would love to go back and get some great salty fish, get some arroz de pato, which is duck rice. Oh, my God. Delicious. Their black pork is unbelievable. They have the best pork in the world in Portugal. They have the worst steaks in the world, though, I will say that. What's my next big game I'm going to tackle on Switch 2? That's a great question. I mean, just because I love it, these games I could play on the PS5 or PC or whatever, but I just like the portability of it. So a game that I could get physically. I'm playing Hollow Knight on it right now, but the next big game I'll probably play on it probably be Hollow Knight Silksong on the Switch 2. So yeah, that'll probably be the next big game. Ex Machina, I just ordered that one on the Switch 2, so that should be coming. And then, of course, like the biggest one, of course, would be Metroid Prime 4. I will be playing that on the Switch 2 whenever that comes out. But as you know, I've been doing videos on, I'm only buying physical releases. So if the game is fully on the cartridge, I will buy it. If it's not, I am not buying it for the Switch 2, digitally or physically. I will not have a game key card or a download only on my shelf. The only games that I will have on my Switch 2 are the physical cartridges, 100%. Hey, Rotten Tanuki says, hey, on your 700 subs, what game are you playing? Yeah, I've been playing, well, I have a couple of games still in progress. I don't like to have multiple games in progress, but I currently do. If I look at Game Track and the games I still have that I haven't finished yet this year, Xenoblade Chronicles X, I still have Trinity Trigger on my backlog. I'm about 30% of the way through that. I still haven't finished The Pathless. I still haven't finished Trails Through Daybreak. I've got a Game Boy Advance game, The Incredible Hulk. That's a short one. I still haven't finished Oblivion. I'm about 70% of the way through that. I started playing Suikoden 1. I haven't finished Suikoden as part of the HD remasters. What else? And, I've been playing Blasphemous. Have you guys ever played Blasphemous? A really brutal 2D Metroidvania style platformer. Brutal. Just brilliantly. It's one of the best indie games. It's absolutely beautiful. But I haven't beat that yet either. So yeah, Hollow Knight on my Switch 2 right now, and Blasphemous on my Steam Deck, and I've got to finish some of these games. But I did just beat Batman Arkham Knight the other day. First game that got you into gaming and how it impacted your life. Pac-Man. I mean, you know, and then being able to play Pac-Man on the Atari 2600 that my dad bought and brought it home. That and the game Adventure. Do you guys remember Adventure for Atari? The game is actually a huge part of the story for Ready Player One, which is my favorite book of all time, by the way, Ready Player One. And the fact that Ernie Klein writes about the adventure game and as a key plot point in that book just floored me. But I loved that on the Atari, like this going and finding the keys and avoiding those dragons, and the dragon could come through the wall and kill you. And oh my God, that to me was, I knew I was going to like those types of adventure games back then. So that was really impactful. Then just being able to play video games like Pac-Man, you know, on a home console was crazy to me. So that's what first got me into gaming back in the day. But then, you know, remember I took like 15 years off. And the game that got me back into gaming was Metroid Dread. Boy, did I jump into a difficult game, but boy, did I love that thing. And I went out, I bought a Switch because of it, and that's how I got back into gaming. It's funny, Nintendo, back because I used to cover this stuff. Nintendo sent me the first Switch with Breath of the Wild, and I didn't really play it. I played a little bit of it, but my son, he took it over and really was playing that. You know, that and Mario Odyssey and all of that stuff. So it really wasn't my device, to be honest with you. I wasn't really playing games on the Switch at all. I was playing some PlayStation games, but really kind of took a break for like 15 years. And Metroid Dread, you know, came out, and man, I just went crazy with it. And then I just went crazy. I launched a gaming channel. I play games all the time now. Really sucked me back in. So I'm obsessed, you know. It brought me back to my childhood again, for sure. Solomon's Key. Oh yeah, Solomon's Key. That's right. That's right. Gregory says, are you getting the Asus ROG Ally X? In fact, yeah, I just talked to Asus this morning, the team from Asus, and I said, you know, because hopefully I'm going to get a review unit that I'll be able to test. But for sure, yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. Thank you, Red Syrup. Appreciate it. Did I have any super chats come in? I just want to make sure I'm not missing any here. I got multiple monitors here up and running. Okay. 12 minutes. I'll blow your mind. It's not a physical copy. A game called 12 Minutes. Okay. Yeah, you know, look, I played some digital stuff. I just beat Katana Zero a couple of weeks ago. Have you guys played Katana Zero? There's no physical copy of that. I played that on the Steam Deck. That was incredible. That was a great game. Tiggies wants to know, do I ever get the missus to game with you? No, she's not into it. She likes Sudoku. Back in the day, though, she used to play the heck out of Tetris and Super Mario Brothers, but no, she's not into. She likes reading on her. She likes reading on her Kindle. She loves reading books. That's her thing. Yeah, Katana Zero was great. Super Mario 3D All Stars physical copy. I have that. Yeah, that's great. Okay, Tino says, hey, I noticed you have a Xenoblade 2 as one of the front-facing games on your gaming room shelf. I must know everything. Xenoblade. First game, other Xeno games, favorite one, how it's impacted you. Well, I did a whole deep dive video on my Xenoblade Chronicles, and I was actually in a forest, walking through a Portuguese forest, talking about how impactful that game was. Yeah, I didn't give any spoilers, I don't think. I think I avoided spoilers, but just talked a lot about the big different story beats and how incredible it was. You know, in the game, to just be able to walk through the forest and hear that incredible music, and what an unbelievable story. I just still can't wrap my head around this idea that people like live on these like fallen giants, you know, like what an incredible idea. And to use, of course, the incredible sword, just, yeah, really great stuff. Really, I mean, incredible. Now, having said that, I haven't played Xenoblade 2 yet, and I haven't played 3. I'm halfway through I'm like maybe 1/10 of the way through Xenoblade Chronicles X. But I crushed the first one. Crushed it. I think I 100%ed it, I think. Didn't I? I did just about every side quest you could do in that game. I just loved it. So I did, maybe like 90%. I don't think I 100%ed it, but it was close. I did like everything. So loved it. Let's see. Astro Luna. Blocking your name here, Astro Luna. Let me put it full screen. Astro Luna says, it's funny because I had no clue that you covered gaming and you were so passionate about it. I watched your conversation when you were on Tucker Carlson's show and thought you seemed like a really cool guy. And now I learned that you're even cooler than I thought. Thank you so much. Yeah, I did Tucker's show a few months ago. I think in June. I did twice, actually. I was at his studio in Florida and then his other studio in Maine. So I did March and then I did his show in June up in Maine. He says, all right, sorry if you've covered this, but do you think that big live service gacha games like Hoyo versus Genshin Impact will do with those games when they come to an end? Do you think that they will release a physical or digital copy of the entire game or just pull the plug and let tens of thousands of hours of the game they created become a memory? Do you think there's an incentive for them to release a digital copy when the game ends or no? I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. I mean, I think it's incredibly important for game preservation to have these games not die. You know, these like, but then, you know, how are you going to release a physical version of like Fortnite? You can't, right? Because of the multiple seasons. Like they're launching new seasons all of the time. So maybe they could release like some shorter story version of the game at some point, but it relies on you playing with other people, right? So it's like Helldivers. Maybe they could release there's a physical copy of Helldivers, but I didn't buy it. I bought the digital copy because why? Because it's a live service game, basically. So why should I own a physical copy of it? It's going to need to go to a server. It's going to need to download the latest build of the game with the Halo integration and all of that stuff. So I think it's important for game preservation. And this is the thing. This is why it's so important for Don't Kill Games, the big initiative on Don't Kill Games. Let it live on somebody else's servers. Don't kill off the game. Like let other modders and people, take those games and put it up on their own servers. It doesn't have to be dead. Like if Nintendo kills something off, like what happens to Splatoon, Splatoon 2 when that all dies, or Splatoon 3 if there's still so many people playing that game. Well, what if they just shut the servers down? Well, let the servers stay around. Let other people play it. Yes, there's a story mode for Splatoon 3, but it's not enough. The point of that game is you're battling against other people, so let those servers live on. But I don't think there's any reason they would release a physical copy unless there's like a single player story mode or something. Just doesn't make sense. Did I have Halo LAN parties? Those were the days. You know what? That was an era when I was just leaving college and moving off into the world, and I didn't have money for that. I didn't. And I never had a LAN party. I never went to a LAN party. One of my team members on our redacted team, Grim, he actually used to run LAN parties in Indiana back in the day, which sounds awesome, so cool. But no, I never did a LAN party, and I never did anything by link cable either. Can you believe that? Mike says, congrats. Are you going to play the Final Fantasy Tactics remaster? If you haven't ever played it, it drops next month. It's for sure one of the best games ever made. I am going to buy it, and I am going to play it. Absolutely. And I've never played it. Can you believe that? So now what's funny is I bought a copy of it on the Game Boy Advance. How would you compare it, Mike, to like the Game Boy Advance version versus was it PlayStation 2, I think, right? PlayStation 2 version of Final Fantasy Tactics? The original. So yeah, I definitely going to play that for sure. And I love tactics games. I will say that is a genre that maybe I should have even talked about more. I love that genre, like Unicorn Overlord. Oh, I 100%ed that game, Unicorn Overlord, and I did a whole deep dive review of Unicorn Overlord. If you want to watch it on the channel. Oh, PS1 original. Okay, PS1. Yeah. Buke Slayer Grunter says, love the content, Clayton, both on Redacted and your gaming channel. I'm 41 years old. I started playing original NES in the late 80s, then got the Sega Genesis. From there, computer games, then N64, PS1. But then in high school, I was more interested in girls than gaming. And didn't start playing again till the Wii a little bit, then in 2015. I rediscovered the classic NES games I kind of forgot about. Oh yeah, you probably got those on the Virtual Console, right, for the Wii. And nostalgia hit hard, and I got back into gaming on the PS4, Xbox One games, and loved it. But really, since the pandemic, I found it almost impossible to keep the passion to play. I still enjoy watching gaming channels, yours at the top, of course. Any advice on how to get back into playing again? Thanks. Well, I think, honestly, it comes down to the games, because there are games I'll start and I'm like, this is boring. I can't suspend disbelief. I'm not going to play this game just for my channel, just to play a game. Like, I want to play games that I can suck me in, and I want to 100% those games. To be honest with you, I would give a game like Breath of the Wild a shot. Like, if you've never played Breath of the Wild and you want to reconnect to gaming again, play Breath of the Wild. Start there, my friend. Let that game just suck you in. Play it on a big screen. Turn up the volume. Listen to the nuances of it. Just be a part of that world, and let it suck you in. I think that's a good place to start. But then again, I'll ask you. I guess I'll ask you, what games do you like playing? What games did you find yourself you couldn't put down back when you were on the PS4 and Xbox One? What were the games that you were like, oh my god, I was obsessed with this game? Find something similar to that, and jump back into that again. And maybe even if you've never played multiplayer. For me, a game that really brought the joy out of me was to play Helldivers. I never played an online game before, can you believe it? I never played with other people. So when Helldivers 2 came out and I started playing games with other people for the first time, I have 4 guys, so we would get together at nights and play Helldivers together. And we would make fun of each other and just have a blast, and oh my god. So if you can find maybe a friend who's into video games, and maybe you could jump in together and play something, that would definitely work as well. Oh, Rotten says about that 12 minutes. So the whole game takes place in 12 minutes in one tiny bedroom apartment? That's cool. I love that idea. A game that's only 12 minutes long, you can solve it in 12 minutes. That's pretty cool. Space Marine. I haven't played Space Marine yet. That's on my backlog. I have it. I bought it. I haven't played it yet. Yeah, play a game. Grim is here. Hey everyone, give a shout out to Grim. He does all of the graphics for our Redacted show, and by the way, he does all the thumbs and everything for my gaming channel here as well. And he is a gamer. He used to run those LAN parties back in the day. Where did his comment go? Did it just vanish? He was here a second ago? Now the comment, I don't see it. Oh no, it's up there. Oh yeah, so Grim says he used to run a 200-person LAN party 4 times a year. That's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, Grim also streams and does live streaming for gaming as well. He's pretty much a big PC gamer. He's one of those types, He's one of those types. But yeah, I would say, what do you guys think? In the chat, answer for this guy, because I know where you are on this. I think gaming is so much fun if you can just get into a good rhythm. Have you played the Uncharted games? Jump into the Uncharted series for the first time. Play those 3. Play 1, 2, 3, and 4. I couldn't put those games down. It's a low barrier to entry. Maybe you like some horror games. Play the Resident Evil 4 remake. That is unbelievable. Maybe you've never played an open world game. Play Red Dead Redemption. See if it sucks you in. Just try some smatterings of different things. You like some of the classic stuff? Play some of the play Dragon Warrior 2, Dragon Warrior 3 HD 2D remake if you love some of the classics. That was an incredible game, that remaster that came out at the end of last year. And if you like sort of classic games, but it's it's got definitely it's new shiny coat of paint on it. So give it a shot. Horror games stress you too much, Chev? Yeah. JB says, yeah, we need more info. He's got to give us a genre or something. Yeah. Yeah, no. If you would have said, hey, I like these types of games. I've played the heck out of Metroid. I played the heck out of this. I could give you a whole host of games that you could play, like Animal Well and, Hollow Knight and Prince of Persia and the Lost Crown, stuff like that. Horror games in VR is a whole new world. So you wait, Grim. So Grim loves VR, but you won't play horror games in VR. Now, I apparently the Resident Evil 4 remastered VR mode is something else, and I've only played it for like I've only like turned it on and then I got distracted and I never went back to it. Yeah, Fortnite. Yeah, I mean, again, maybe I know that sounds silly, but maybe jumping into Fortnite, like. You know, I never wanted to push live service stuff like that, like Fortnite, but my son loves it. He plays with his cousin who lives in Mexico, and they play all the time together. It's, you know, and they're laughing the whole time, and, you know. So, anyway. Classic Xander, what camera are you using that is tracking you? Gamer and tech guy here. Yeah, so I brought it in here. The one I was using in my studio is this one. It's just the Osmo Pocket 3. The Osmo Pocket 3. And it has a, what do you call it, quarter inch? I never remember the name of what it is. But anyway, so I've been testing it out because I had a proper Sony camera in there. And in this one, you can actually enable or disable face tracking. And it will follow you around. So you could like put it on a tripod. Like you could put it on a tripod in your games room and walk around. Like that's how I shot my whole games room behind. Have you guys seen my behind the scenes of my games room video? It's like an hour long, but I went through every game. I went through like everything. But I set this up on a tripod and it would track me around the room. So I was able to walk over here and point to things. And it was like I had a cameraman in there. But some people complained about it when I was just sitting there at my desk and I would just move like this, you know, at my desk. People are like, why is your camera moving? Stop it. So in those situations, I've turned it off now going forward, like at the desk. Like it doesn't really make sense, you know. So, but if I'm moving out and about or walking in the forest or something like that and talking, like it'll face track you, and it's pretty cool actually. Thank you for that question. But it's the Osmo Pocket 3, and then it just like flips on like this. The gimbal, a DJI Pocket 3 Osmo. See, it's got the camera there, and yeah, on a gimbal too. So it's got a Steadicam gimbal, which is pretty cool. So, and you can shake it and move it, and it's a full steady camera, which is crazy to think about back in the day when they were filming Star Wars and in Return of the Jedi in the woods, and they had to have like Steadicam guys like with these big things walking through the woods so they get those shots for the speeder bikes and all that. You know, now you could just use this. It's crazy. All right, let's see here. Next question. Oh, and Grim gave me this background here. The problem is that, like, for some reason, uploading it to Canva, the file size, Canva was not having it. It would not let me upload that video file. I don't know why. So that's why it's a still shot, Grim, if you're wondering. Danny McGinn. Actually, I'm going to ask this question. So Danny here has a question here. Danny McGinn says, 100% Clayton Morris. When starting a gaming YouTube channel, do you recommend we start it as a business? Well, like if it's just a hobby and you enjoy it, like I like playing guitar, I would never want to start a YouTube channel about playing guitar. I wouldn't say never, but I enjoy the conversation. You know, that's why I think I do the channel, like because I love talking about games. It's not enough for me to go and play a game. I want to talk about it later. I want to talk about it with my son. I want to talk about it with people. So that's why I do this channel, because I enjoy it. But if no one watches it, then it's going to peter out after 3 months. You're going to not do it. You're not going to, if no one's watching it, you're not really putting in the effort to have a conversation, then people aren't going to watch it. And then it's like, why am I doing this, So, of course, you want it to be successful as a business, and you can treat it as a business. And then if you're going to treat it as a business and this is what you want to do for your living, and you want to like quit your day job and actually build your own channel, that's when you really got to dive into like and start taking some courses, like Daryl Eves has his like channel jumpstart course, teaches you how to build YouTube channels and all of that. So I've built multiple YouTube channels now. I've got my main one that has a couple million subscribers, our redacted channel. I've got a paranormal one that kind of I've let peter out, just don't have the time for it. I've got this one and I make the time for it because I enjoy the conversation about games. So for me, it's like an outlet and I enjoy it. But you know, you want to treat it as a business. You definitely want to be able to make some revenue. I don't make very much money on this channel at all. I basically make enough to just cover my editor. You know, that's really about it. So, and even then I'm still losing money on this. So yeah. But I would recommend it, you know, setting up an LLC. And if you're actually going to start a business, I would definitely do it that way. Yeah, and as Grim points out, gaming YouTube channels are a tough niche. They are because, well, the idea is, you know, you got to attract, if you're just coming on, just kind of talking about one thing, you know, you got to also game the algorithm. You've got to figure out like, okay, like series are working really strong right now. Like there's a guy named Strahan or whatever his name is, Trathan or whatever. And he does like, he's visiting 50 states in 50 days. Right. So series, like 50 of those episodes are doing really, really well. But like sort of one-off videos, and then like maybe you launch one and it doesn't work and no one watches it. You're like, oh, but I loved talking about that. So it's so frustrating because you're like, on the one hand, I love talking about this and no one watched it. And then another one you kind of do and it really hits, but it was like not one that you're super passionate about. And so then what happens is you start making more and more videos about things you're not passionate about. And then you're like, why am I doing this? You know? So fortunately, I think I've hit a good balance here on this channel that every video that I put out is something I want to talk about. Like there's no video I'm putting out on this channel that I'm like, I just have to do it, you know? Obviously big game releases, you know, in some ways you feel like compelled to talk about it. Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out, you know, you're going to do a video about that, but I want to as well. You know, I want to talk about Donkey Kong Bonanza. So that's not a problem, you know? Oh, my laptop died. How did that happen? Is it something? Somebody unplug my power supply down here? I'm going to kill one of the kids. I have a feeling it was one of the kids. I have a weird feeling it was one of the children. I don't know if my laptop died. I apologize because I have my comments here. I want to bring up the comments here on the screen. Yeah, it was totally dead. How did that happen? I have to yell at one of them. Nothing makes me angrier than when my kids steal my damn chargers. And I got into a huge fight with my 8-year-old yesterday. I couldn't find my charger next to my bed that I use. It's plugged in under, you know, I charge like my Steam Deck and stuff like that and my phone. And she took it, furious. I yelled at her. And I said, don't ever do that again. I bought you one. You have one in your room, you know? Yeah, but I didn't want to go all the way up there and get it, blah, blah, blah. And then she took it again last night. So she's grounded. She got in trouble. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this. And so Social Stream Ninja, I just got a super chat, but it's not showing up it's not showing up here in Social Stream Ninja, which is weird. So, but Jeremy, thank you for your super chat. $9 super chat. Do you have any interest in playing Elden Ring or other FromSoft games? For me, they were life-changing experiences. Yes, I do. And I'm going to be playing... Is Dragon's Dogma FromSoft, right? No. Dragon's Crown. No. Was Dragon's Crown FromSoft? Was Dragon's Crown FromSoft? But yes, I do have an interest in playing Elden Ring. It's been on my backlog. I played about an hour of it when it first came out, and then I couldn't use the room where I was playing it anymore, so I had to move like my PS5 out of this room and all that, and I couldn't. I just fell off of it. And I remember coming out of the cave area and coming out in that like open world area, and there was a guy on a horseback, this giant monster on a horse, and he just slaughtered me with like one hit. And I was like, "What the hell?" Like, I was like, "Oh my god, okay, that's this type of game." And then I learned from people that are like, you can run away from guys, like you actually have to run away from people. I was like, "Oh, okay." I will come back to that. The last FromSoft game that I played and beat was Armored Core 6. That's the first Armored Core game I ever played, and ooh, that was incredible. Some of those boss fights were intense, amazing. like the spider. I think it was I forget the name of the spider. One of the hardest bosses I've ever fought in any video game. And when I finally beat it, I threw the controller up in the air and flipped out. So it was a huge moment. Dragon's Crown is Atlas. Okay. Yeah, JB says, yeah, you definitely aren't supposed to fight him right away. So Dragon's Crown is Vanillaware. Right. Okay. Yeah, I loved, Unicorn Overlord, so I'm going to go back and play that. But as far as other FromSoft games, no, I've never played that. But I have these other questions here, but I can't pull them up on the screen. Let's read some of these other ones. Can my kid watch this video? Yes, your child can watch this video. There's no spoilers in this video. Is Elden Ring perfect? No, but it's one of the best games. Is it one of the best games ever made? Yes. Yeah, I mean, what game is perfect, What game is perfect? Is grounding still a thing? Yes, grounding still is a thing. One thing you like about your Switch 2, one thing you dislike about your Switch 2. Well, I love the backwards compatibility. That's it. I mean, that's to me the biggest selling point, and the fact that it will, now so many of my great Switch 1 collection now will play beautifully on the Switch 2. Like, that's huge for me. One thing I don't like is the ergonomics of it. I don't like the flat design, so I've got this D brand case on it. And it has really grippy and feels like textured, feels like sandpaper, feels really nice, and you really get into it. So I love that. I love the screen. The screen's nice, but I do not like the ergonomics of it without the case case put on top of it. Gordon Freeman, man, my laptop is totally dead. This is crazy. I wonder if it just got... It's so weird that power supply, it's always plugged in. This is why it's weird to me. It's like it's plugged into a main power supply, and I don't know why it's dead now. That really pisses me off. Let's see if I can get this one over here. What is this? What the hell? This cord going up through the... Huh. Did the desk get turned off? Like, the desk itself is powered. So how did someone turn off the desk? Now all the... It's so crazy. I'm not sure what's happening here. This is really strange. I'm trying to use my wife's cable. But this... Yeah, that's really strange. Maybe something burnt out, or... I can't read my other questions from you guys. And I had a few more. I only had a few more questions I wanted to get to here. Let me open Canva on my phone, unfortunately. I'll just have to do it that way. So laptop is totally dead now. I mean, I guess I could put it up on this PC. Hey, from Russia. Venk Wiegand is from Russia. Good to see you. Mod check. Do I think Putin played any video games? I think there was there was a story about him playing video games. There was a story that he enjoyed some games. I don't know which they were though. Man, I can't even see. My screen is so small. What does that say? Oh, okay, we already did that one. Let's see, this one here is from... That was the camera question. Oh, I had 3 in 1 that I was going to put up here on the screen. Really strange. What the hell is happening with this power supply? Anyway, all right. I had 3 questions in 1 from 3 different people, but they were short and there. I just figured I'd fly through them here. Itachi says, have you... Oh, wait. It's back up and running. Okay. Got a little juice. Enough juice to bring it back up. Okay, good. Here we go. Have you ever played Metroid Prime Hunters for the DS? What are your thoughts on the Fallout series? No, I own a demo disc or a demo cartridge of Metroid Prime Hunters. I never played it, though. And the Fallout series, well, the TV series I've never seen, and the video game series, I actually bought the first 3 in the series, I think, through like a sale on Steam, and I still haven't played them. I know. Everyone's telling me, you got to play Fallout, and Philip, our producer for Redacted, he was obsessed with Fallout 4, I think to the point where he played it for like thousands of hours. And he refused to beat the game or finish the game because he just keeps playing it. How about talking about what upcoming games you're excited about? I'm excited about Metroid Prime 4, for sure. I'm excited for the DLC for Indiana Jones that comes out in a few weeks. The Order of the Giants. I'm definitely interested in that. What else am I excited about? You know, to be honest with you, I mean, I'm definitely excited about Metal Gear Solid 3, the remaster. I'll play that. That seems like a lot of fun. I beat that about a year ago for the first time, or 2 years ago. So now it's like fresh in my brain. Yeah, I don't know. What else am I excited about? What's another big... Minyu says, I wouldn't play Fallout if you paid me. Really? Is it because there's politics in it or something? The creep of politics is kind of annoying, you said, in the game? Tiggy's Toy says, I like the full Fallout games, but the online one ruined it for me. Oh, Command and Conquer Red Alert. That brings back memories. Oh, yeah, man, those like PC point and click games, for sure. How bad do we need that Red Dead 2 upgrade? Yes, I know. We're waiting for that, right? Like, I would love to play that on the Switch, too. I played, the first time I ever played Red Dead, I played it on the Switch 1 and actually played great. I was traveling at the time, and I downloaded it while I was traveling, and I started playing it. And my son beat it on his Switch as well. So I would love to play Red Dead 2 on a Switch 2. I'd love to play it on the PS5 if they ever give us a PS5 version of the game. But I've been waiting for that. Man, the years I put into SimCity and that kind of stuff. Do I like San Andreas? I've never played it. Yeah, this was sort of fell into my era of like non-gaming. So, yeah, I never played that. Next up, is modding the future of gaming, giving games longevity and making games even better, great games even better, or something that just HC nerds do? Or should consoles start to allow it to a certain degree if they want to keep competing with cheap handheld and PCs? So I filmed a whole video yesterday on Valve's new Fremont project that leaked this week. And the specs leaked this week, so I did a whole deep dive video on it. It should be coming out in the next day or so, or next few days. Grim, by the way, I need a thumbnail for Valve and Fremont. Is it going to look like one of those old Steam Machine boxes from the 10 years ago? I don't know. But yeah, the specs leaked, we think. And one of the things that I say in that video is, what level of modding or tweaking would Valve allow you for a console, a Steam box that you would plug into your TV in your living room? Because that's the appeal, of course, of PC gaming is modding. So if Valve releases this box, are they going to allow you to, like in some sort of a Linux desktop mode, like you can on the Steam Deck? How much are you going to be able to mod this thing to the point of nearly ruining it or something, breaking it, So I don't know. It's a great question. I don't think that it's like the future of gaming. Like modding is never going to be for the masses. It's going to be for the select few that love doing that kind of stuff, but it's not going to be for the masses. for sure. However, you know, look at a game like Tears of the Kingdom. And people loved like building all of these different ways of getting around that game and putting all these, you know, different creative ideas together. So when you, and we certainly see that success with like, you know, Minecraft and all that kind of stuff. But as far as like getting under the hood and like really messing with your hardware and software, I don't know. I don't think the masses want to do that. I mean, that was really why Apple was so successful with their, you know, their iPhone and their iPad. It's like, no, there's no, you know, there's no like downloading third-party apps. There's no like having access to the back-end file system and all of that, you know. It's just easy. It's plug and play. Even a grandmother can launch an iPad and get to her news and her emails, you know. Andrew Rule says, I saw a video you did about the Switch 2 yesterday. When the hell did you start doing a gaming channel? Well, this channel, I think this channel is about 17 years old. And when I launched this channel, I actually launched it as a gaming channel 17 years ago. And it was just me. I would upload videos where I was in, you know, at different events like Microsoft events and things like that when I was as a games journalist and, you know, testing out Project Natal at the time, you know, Microsoft's Kinect, you know, testing out for the first time like Guitar Hero and all of that and GarageBand and, you know, yeah, Guitar Hero. And I did a thing back in the day called the Wii Fit Challenge. So that was some of the first videos I ever uploaded on this channel was like my Wii Fit Challenge, like a 4-week challenge to lose weight using, you know, using the Wii Fit. And, you know, that video, that actually aired on Fox News when I worked at Fox News. So it was sort of a channel just to have as a supplement to what I was doing for my day job, you know. But yeah, so technically I've had a gaming channel for 17 years. It laid dormant for like 15 years though, that's for sure. Yeah, I think this channel is 18 or 17 years old. I have to look. Let me see if I can check. How do you tell? Like, how can you tell? Grim, do you know how you can tell? I think it's go into YouTube Studio. I'm going to find out real quick. I think it's 18 years old or 17 years old or 16 years old or something. I don't know how you tell. Is there a way to tell? View your channel. I think it says, oh yeah, okay, here it is. Look at that. (2008). Just to prove to you that I'm not lying here. Let me show you here. Look at this. Look how old my channel is. I joined in June 3rd, 2008. 2008. How long ago was that? How many years ago was that? Can you guys do the math on that? 2008. Now if I look at some of my first videos, oldest. Let's look at the oldest ones. Oh my God. Yeah, like here's like, okay, you know, me interviewing Stan Lee and stuff like that. Man, this is old stuff here, man. Why is this freezing up here? Okay. I'm going to refresh this. I don't know what's happening here. Is the internet giving me crap? Sorry, guys. I don't know what's happening with this. Maybe it's just because the battery's nearly dead again. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah. Some old school stuff in there, that's for sure. Man. Comic-Con. Yeah, I think maybe it's just because the battery is like still nearly dead. I don't know. But there's some old stuff in here for sure. It's like, yeah, so like I basically didn't do anything with the channel for like 15 years. So like a year and a half ago, I really kind of relaunched the gaming channel, you know, so that it then it actually started doing something again, you know. All right, go back to my last questions here. Did you start this respectfully as a personal account? As a personal account? Yeah, I think, just you want to secure your name back in the day. So I grabbed Clayton Morris as the URL and I think I did a whole bunch of different things with it over the years, uploading random different stupid videos, like I didn't even know what was on the channel, to be honest with you. So if I click on oldest here. Yeah, like I've got, let's pull this up here. Like Comic-Con 2019, just a little behind the scenes, my reviewer exciting about news in my Fox office about G.I. Joe, the movie was coming out. Comic-Con 2009, I mean. That's what's her name from Lost, I think, right? No, I forget. Yeah, did the whole Wii Fit challenge. Like, this was fun. Like to try to lose weight. This was in my parents' basement. Doing Wii Fit. It's so funny. My God, this is old school. Look at my old Atari shirt too. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough of that. It's funny to look back at this. I don't know why the internet's not working in here. It's like real crap at the moment. Real crap. Okay, let's see. Let's go back to the questions and we'll get out of here. Okay, we already did that one. Here's a VR question. What's your take on VR like Quest 3? Do you see eventually going more mainstream or dead on arrival from most gamers? I mean, I've been wanting to play more VR, but I mean, Sony just like the other day just took another or is about to take another game out of the PSN network or PlayStation, So they're taking 10 games away and one of them is a VR game. That leaves like 3 VR games on the service. So, you can tell where like Sony's interest is promoting that for sure. I don't know. People tell me they're like, yeah, I think it's the future. It's amazing. I've heard amazing things about like the Batman Arkham Shadow game, but I'm not going to buy a whole new VR headset just for that. I'm not going to buy the Quest just for that. Like I've got a Sony VR, PlayStation VR 2. My son uses it for racing games, so he uses it for Gran Turismo all the time. So, he uses it in that environment, Rotten Tanuki says, hey, Clayton, are there more people like you in the mainstream media that really understand gaming and can educate the ignorant news anchors that just don't understand the hobby? I don't know. I mean, I guess there's probably a few, but they'll be forever ignorant about it. Grim says, I played Arkham Shadow. It was awesome. Yeah, I love the Arkham games, so I would like to do that. Do I play any sports games? Lincoln says. I used to play the hell out of sports games. Everything from Major League Baseball or Bases Loaded to hockey games to golf games. But to be honest with you, in later years, I don't really ever play sports games anymore. I will play it with my son. Like if he wants to play Madden 26, we just got Madden 25 because my Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl, so they're on the front cover. Maybe he and I will play some of that together. Bin Lind. I talked about that a little earlier in the video. So when this is done, you can just re-rack it and go back. I talked all about my favorite genre of games back then. All right. Mark Delight says, did changing your television's HDR setting to HGIG fix the communication problems you were having with the Switch 2 dock? No. What did fix it, though, was when I was playing... so that still has not fixed it. But the problem I was having was with Cyberpunk and the fact that it was on 120... it was on 120 hertz setting by default. I had to turn that off, and then Cyberpunk was able to work fine on the Switch dock. But, that's stupid. Because out of the gate, out of the box, it's defaults to 120 hertz. So for most people, they're not going to even know what the hell's wrong with their dock. Like, what's going on here? Why won't my game play? I just bought Cyberpunk, but it won't play on this TV. So until you go in and turn off that 120 hertz setting, I wonder how many people had that problem. And that's the last question. Yeah, can you believe it? Any other Any other super chats that I missed or anything? Oh, mech games in VR. Yes, we are live, guys. Yes, we are live. Do I think Indiana Jones and FF7 will be game key cards? I hope not. I hope, but see, this is Microsoft. Microsoft released even the disc, the Blu-ray disc for PS5. Barely any of the game is on the disc. Like 30% of the game is on the disc. The rest of it is a download. Same thing is true of the Xbox game disc. So maybe the definitive edition of the game could be on the Switch too. Full game. And the DLC. That'd be awesome. Got friggin' Cyberpunk on there with the full DLC. I would like it. Yeah. Do I think, Brian Regal says, do I think woke games are finally dead? No, unfortunately, because you still have studios that have had games in development, really, that are born out of that DEI woke era. So you're going to have more of them until they realize that no one's buying them, right? I mean, look at a game like Avowed or, not Avowed, but yeah, I mean, I guess, but, or Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Like, these studios have to realize if you're spending $200 million making a game and you're sticking in like trans politics, you know, and identity politics, people don't want it. So maybe the 200 people that work at your studio are thrilled that this person is like a non-binary trans person. Great. Good for you. So do we have to have like a full video game about mental illness as well? You know, like, no. So they're not dead. There's a lot of them still in the pipeline, I think. But I'm hoping the future we will get rid of this crap. Just give us video games again. I mean, look at Battlefield 6. Talk about it like a masculine game is back. I told my friends, I told Grim and Philip and David here from the team, I said, when that game comes out, we're jumping in and playing that. The beta is out now, of course, but you know. Yeah, and USAID is cut as well. I think, well, we'll see. I mean, whatever the life cycle is, I mean, if you have a game that's been in development for 5 years and it's fully like a woke game, we'll see, you know, like how well it does when it finally comes out. But you know, look, I mean, Baldur's Gate had stuff like that in it, Baldur's Gate 3, but it wasn't telling you what to think. It wasn't forcing it down your throat. It wasn't pushing politics on you. So that's the difference. So that stuff can still exist. Like a gay person in a game can still exist. Gay people are real. Gay people are born that way. Despite what some people think. Well, who knows? I'm not gay, so I don't know. But that's what the research studies suggest, I guess. But anyway, so you know they exist, and they're likely going to be in more video games, and that's totally fine. But just don't push your identity politics on us in video games. Like no one wants to hear it. No one wants to be lectured to. I mean, like in Spider-Man 2, which was a great game for most of it. Like from from the story was pretty good, but like why is Miles Morales and why is MJ the ones that have to save Peter? Like Peter Parker is Spider-Man. I bought a Spider-Man game. Why is MJ the hero of the game in doing different things? I'm not ruining it because there's a lot to it, but just so you know, like she's a big part of the game, like helping Peter out. Why? Just like that's what I loved about Indiana Jones game, The Great Circle. He was allowed to be Indiana Jones. He was a man. He was allowed to be a man. He was allowed to rescue a woman. Did she help him? Sure. Gina in the game, she helps him at different points. Does he save her? Yep. He helps her out from time to time. He's funny. He's got his he's got his masculinity, but ultimately he's the guy. He's the guy that like saves the day and seals the deal. But in that Dial of Destiny movie with Harrison Ford, that Indiana Jones movie was so bad. You have this like drunk over the hill Indiana Jones. He just looks enfeebled. And the woman is like the star of the show. And come on. It was just terrible. Yeah. Exactly. Each to their own until they force feed it down your throat. Like, yeah, live and let live. I don't care how you live. Like, if you want to, if you're a man and you want to wear women's dresses in your house, great. But don't tell my son that he has to do it. Like, if you want to be a weird pervert, that's up to you. It's not up, but keep it away from my son and don't push it on me. Yeah, and I vote with my wallet. That's for sure. Exactly. Fleabag, that's who it was, yeah. Corvus says, I don't mind politics in games. I just don't like cultural Marxist politics. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is why like Metal Gear is so good, right? Like you're getting a whole game about like the deep state. You're getting like how these operators move and shake and like how they control people and all of this. It's like, Marlon says, Disney is now begging for men to return. Yeah, and did you see that Disney is now, well, yeah, I don't know if you saw this past week, Disney is now actively reaching out, trying to figure out how, like, what do young men want to watch? And they're like, we don't know. So they're soliciting people right now, trying to like help them, like help Disney figure out like a couple of series and movies, and how can they get young men to watch Disney stuff? Now that you screwed up Star Wars, you woked that up, You made Star Wars like have all these like female protagonists. So now it's just like, all the men are like emasculated. Can't have Luke Skywalker be a man. What do I think about Cracker Barrel? Oh my God. This is so ridiculous. I mean, how do you erase your own company's identity in just like in no time? You get rid of what made it unique, what made it have that country charm, like an old man sitting by a barrel in the front of a store, rocking chairs out front. Like, when I lived in West Virginia, like that's like what it reminded me of. And now you got to get rid of that, make it more like I don't know. It's awful. But I did share in our group chat the other day, I said there's only one woman. There's only one woman that can save Cracker Barrel. Let's see if I can find it. I can't find it at the moment. No, my internet is so bad here. I don't know what's going on right now. One woman can save Cracker Barrel. This was funny. Yeah, there's only one woman that can save Cracker Barrel, boys. We need Sydney Sweeney. Yes, exactly. Grim says, if Disney wants young men to watch, do a series with Sydney Sweeney. Exactly. Like I would go back to Cracker Barrel. For sure. Sign me up. Sign me up. Oh, man. Well, thank you, boys. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out. I think mostly boys, right? I would think. I looked at I hope you guys are subscribed to the channel, because I looked at the channel analytics and it says I think 98% of you are men who subscribe to the channel. How is Alien Earth? You like it so far? I heard the first episode was kind of slow, but I heard the second one, it really picks up. Oh, Minyo says, I'm a real woman. Okay, Minyo is here as a real woman. Well, shit, never mind then. What were you going to ask? Compass thy eclipse? What were you asking? Well, shit, never mind. Were you going to ask me something? Or did I miss something that you wrote? Did I miss something that you said? Oh, yeah, you did ask me something. Sorry, just saw it now. What's your opinion on the Trump administration shutting down connectivity to game servers for Russia? I can't play Dark Souls with my Russian friends anymore as they've lost access to the servers. That's garbage. That sucks. Leave our games alone. Like we're I understand we're getting very close to a peace agreement. Like literally this morning, like the update is we're getting very close. We're like very, very close to a peace agreement to end this war. So leave game server. Like why would you go after game servers at this point? At this point in the war? Like you're worried about, I don't know, you're worried about like spies? It's ridiculous. We need another great video game movie. Yeah, shout out to all the real women in the chat. I think there's one woman. Russia Today channel still banned here in the United States. Yeah, it's ridiculous. At least their website. If you're in Europe, you can't even access rt.com. If you're in the US, you can access RT. I think RT is one of the best news sites around. Like really is like like it's not, if you're not getting like propaganda, they do a really great job, but of course they won't let many Americans see it, of course. I'm sorry, in Europe they won't let you see it. So if you live in Europe, you cannot go to rt.com. You've got to use it. You've got to use a VPN. Just pulling up RT here, but like, yeah, if you were in Europe, like RT would pop up. It would just say unable to connect or whatever. But at least in the US, you can read RT if you want. You know, so. And it's got good, analysis here. Is like they're not afraid to like, take tough angles on stories and, ask tough questions. Like, look, they're not afraid to talk about like Netanyahu, like just losing the PR battle. He might be winning in Gaza, but like the world is turning against him because he's a demon. So there you go. Well, thank you everyone for joining us on this 70,000 subscriber live stream. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I have a big video going up tomorrow on the channel. So that'll publish tomorrow. That's all done and edited. I'm pretty proud of that one. I went into some deep numbers on Cyberpunk and just kind of really fascinated about this game keycard thing. So we're going to do that tomorrow. I've also got another video coming out on Valve and Project Fremont and their console. I've got a video on that coming out. And then what else? Oh, I'm going to film a video on the Absolute Pro 1 handheld streaming device, cloud gaming device, and my thoughts on that so far. I've been playing with that quite a bit. So yeah, I've got a lot of stuff in the pipeline here, and as always, I'll kind of keep an eye on what's happening, news of the day, and that I want to come in and talk about. So thank you guys for hanging out. No, I didn't live stream yesterday. I just did it today, Grim. I couldn't figure some stuff out yesterday. I just was too busy. So did it today. But the thumb, I'm going to use that thumb for another purpose later on, the one that you built for me. I'm going to re-release this with that thumb and just the Q&A part of this show. So yeah, so the thumb for today, I just kind of swerved and did like the 70,000 subscribers one. So yeah, no, so I'm using that one. I'm going to publish that, probably release that. Maybe I'll release that later tonight if I get this downloaded and re-uploaded. It'll be sort of a condensed version of this live stream, I guess. So anyway, thank you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Great to see all of you. Thanks for all the kind words on the 70,000 subscribers. Really appreciate that. And yeah, I'll have more content for you tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your afternoon.